Welcome to I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. I'm Michele.
And I'm Lisa. Together we explore the ancient wisdom of the I Ching and mash it up with real modern life, our questions, our challenges, and our breakthroughs.
Take a breath, get curious, and let's see what the hexagrams have to say today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Michele. Hello, everybody. And hello, Lisa.
Hi. Yes, we'll greet ourselves again after that therapy session we just had of, of all the things that are going on.
Yeah, and you know what I thought was interesting? So we were talking about being pulled into being extremely busy, even when the voice in our head is saying, stop, take an hour, meditate, like start your day right. And yet we hit the ground running every day, right? And so I was complaining to Lisa that I have a problem and I don't know how to control this busyness right now, this time of year, especially. And she was like, me too. I got this and this and this, and now that happened. And we were like, oh my God. So we started talking about busyness and the energy of busyness, right? And how I just had a revelation while we were talking, Lisa. And I've always thought like I'm the problem with the busyness, which I am. I have the opportunity. It's like an energy floating around in the world, especially right now at the height of summer. And
Yeah.
everything's so yongy and growing and like everything's like protruding out into reality, right? That's yonging it up. We're all just really
Yeah, Leo's like, I'm coming out.
out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. Woo! Yeah. Except that that's way more jazzy and fun than what I'm experiencing in my life right
So
now.
yeah, we're like balls to the wall with everything right now, and like trying to persevere past all these obstructions that are happening. Oh, I lost you
Sorry.
there for a second.
I
There,
know.
there you go.
I dropped all my cards. I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, so once we were talking for a while and I was like, oh, it's just the energy in the world right now. It's not necessarily me. I'm just being pulled because everything is so vibrant and live and growing.
Mhm.
And I've lost my balance. I need to like make it a point to just bring it back into balance. So this is how we came up with our question today because Lisa and I are very frustrated with ourselves right
Yes,
now.
it's like course correction all the time, and here we're the ones that, talk about slowing down and having flow and ease, and
You
it's
know, I feel like we do that. So, like, I think you and I are pretty good about doing that. But we're also doers and we're air signs, so we're all over the place, right? But I just feel like it's easy to get caught up in that energy and not even realize that you're going a million miles an hour until like after 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 days of like, wait, what did I do today? Like I literally have to sit down and talk to Mark to figure out what I did all day because I'm just so
yeah,
busy flitting around from thing to thing to thing. I do a lot of stuff,
yeah.
busy, stupid stuff that doesn't need done half the time.
It does. It doesn't. We also just knowing our personalities, we react when people say there's something that needs to be
Yeah,
fixed
we
or tended to or jump in when, what was
we
it?
hop to it.
Yeah,
Hop to
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Hop to it. And instead of like, okay, like I see there's a problem here. Does it need to be done right now?
Right.
But we were saying like too, it feels like for us, it's a Western culture type of behavior, this grind that, we have these talks about escaping grind culture, and it just pulls you back in because no one's going to stop unless everyone's really agreeing on asserting boundaries because,
Right. That's our job too. Like that's our job. No one's going to stop us from doing shit for them or you know what I mean? Or that benefits them or whatever.
yeah,
So no one's going
yeah.
to stop us from doing that. And it really does go back to our algorithm class that we're working on, that we're going to be teaching soon, which is attention, focus and energy creates what you're seeing in your life, right? So I'm feeling overwhelmed, like nothing is getting done and pretty tired. And that's because my attention is
Mm.
scattered everywhere, which means my focus is on 3 or 4 or 10 things at one time, which means
Mhm.
I'm not getting really anything done properly. So,
Right. I know. Yeah.
so
So
you want to read the question that we
yes,
came
yes,
up
yes.
with?
Let's do that. It says, so for our I Ching, please tell us in this moment what needs our attention to transform chronic busyness into sustainable presence, and how can we proceed with clarity and lightness? To add on to that, we want to know what small practical change can we each adopt now to align our work, relationships, and creative projects with clarity, ease, and joy. So that's pretty much, if you guys heard our hour-long conversation we had leading up to this, that's the gist of it. Oh, wow. Okay.
Wait, I'm not dropping any cards yet, but I think
Time popped out.
we kind of have an idea of what it's going to tell us.
Yeah,
But we
I mean,
just wanted to
it's
double
getting
check,
to that point.
make sure we aren't missing anything. We kind of know what we have to do, but you just,
Yes. You're gonna, I think this came up in either our last session or another one that I had last week. The energy, it says, in this moment, what needs our attention to transform chronic busyness into sustainable presence, and how can we proceed with clarity, ease, and lightness? The story around that part for me is hexagram 42, which is increase.
that's your first part.
Yes. What
Okay.
needs our attention is hexagram 42 increase. And that's
Increase in
when,
what? I hope it's not more external.
well, it
Running.
could be just the read of what the current energy is increase.
Yeah. Mine
And
is
then, yeah,
discipline. What,
discipline. Okay.
what number is that in? Because our
Uh,
cards are named different things.
so increase is 42 in
Right.
mine. And
Okay.
then discipline, what is discipline in
It's
your,
7. Number 7. Hexagram
it's called,
7.
yeah, it's called organized discipline in mine.
Oh, okay, good. So they're about the same. Okay.
So increase, organized discipline. And then my second energy is hexagram 18, which is repairing the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what small practical change can we each adopt now to align our work relationships and creative projects with clarity, ease, and joy. And I think that's why, I was talking to a friend of ours about, what is the benefit of reading the change lines? And I think this is a great example of that, because I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 change lines. That's a lot of change lines. So if we didn't have the second hexagram to refer to and look at the change lines, we probably would get a very limited view. And so
Mm-hmm.
the change lines really are for giving you a more nuanced reflection.
Well, it kind of
Personalized
is the
yeah,
bridge between the two hexagrams too. Like
yes.
here's the
Continue.
energy you're in, and here's the changes or the things that you can be looking
Mhm.
for to get you into your second energy, which my second energy is 17 following, which is
Oh.
right before yours.
Hmm.
You have 18, I have 17 there. So
Hmm.
interesting.
That's neat.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I
let's
have 4
see.
change lines as well.
You do? Okay.
Hmm.
Um, we get the idea of increase, but as it relates to this question, it says substantial progress and increasing prosperity are exhilarating and good as long as you go with the flow and keep the interests of others in mind. And also yourself. Is it going to say that?
I hope so, because I think that's part of my problem is
I mean,
keeping
there's
others.
a lot. There's a lot going on. It says when opportunities arise, for increase arise, very good fortune comes to those who act swiftly and boldly without falling into the trap of letting their actions be merely self-serving. If you aspire to a position of prominence, the most enduring strategy is to work to raise the tide of your entire community, company, or relationship rather than setting out to swim upstream on your own. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of prosperity right now. And I think for people who are highly sensitive like us, we're getting caught up in that to meet the increase of energy. And it's
Yeah.
probably to the unhealthy imbalance.
I'm reading my increase too as you're looking at yours, and
Yeah.
the I Ching is the same. The hexagrams all mean the same thing all the time, but there's different ways of wording them.
Yes.
Um, and I like seeing the different ones, but mine is kind of hinting at that um, increase all that is nourishing and uplifting within yourself and for others. Generosity, not necessarily busy doing stuff all the time, but like do things that nourish you. Because I can tell you at least probably 60% of what I've been doing hasn't been nourishing me, right? At least 60, if not more, it seems like. But I think that's what they're saying, like increase. Like I said, I'm getting up an hour earlier tomorrow. I'm getting my medication, yoga in, I'm going to do it all. I swear to God, I'm doing it, right? That's nourishing me, even though getting up early isn't nourishing me because
Yeah.
I'm so busy, I go to bed late.
Right. I know. It's so strange. I get it. I get that, one thing that's coming to mind, if I can tell like a relevant story really quickly, is I know we were talking about this time of year is normally a lull for me and many people in real estate or in homes, but in my area, it's just exploding. And so I'm very busy work-wise, kids around summer, so on and so forth. Um, I don't know if you can hear them in the background. Actually, the kids in the background. Okay, good.
Nope, it's good.
There's trampolines and all kinds of stuff going on. I don't know what the kitchen's going to look like when I walk out. But I mean, it genuinely is an increase. But one thing, as I'm increasing, although this is hard for me, I'm also trying to delegate. Like I do have
Mhm.
people who are part of my team that I can offload a lot of things or relinquish a lot of responsibilities to,
But your
which
problem is when you relinquish those responsibilities, you're like, oh, now I can take on this client, or now I can work on this
yeah,
project
yes.
instead of incorporating some time for you
Mhm.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's trying to grow and match that increase,
right.
right? With in a way that's sustainable and not adding
Well, like mine
complexity.
is saying, if you have the ability to increase things that are nurturing to you, and I don't mean like physical things, I mean, like mine is saying, like, walk in nature, see the
Yeah.
full abundance that is truly available to you through nature, and look to nature for guidance. Um, it says, following in her footsteps, you'll come to understand compassion. And I feel like that's part of the problem with busyness.
Hmm.
We don't have compassion for ourselves, at least not like we
We
have
have
for.
less compassion for others when we're that level of busy. Like that's when people
Yes,
snap off.
yes, yeah. Okay, okay. Well, I like what that's saying. Increase then.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
It's not saying
that's
increase more busy stuff. It's
it's
saying
not saying
increase more nourishing
yes.
things.
Yes. And it's saying like I think part of it too is like if it's mine, I think it's relating a lot to my work load or lifestyle load. That for me to empower or to elevate my team in an increasing way to free up more space for me, that's how I'm interpreting it for myself. I don't know if that's
Hmm.
relatable for other people. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
to add to give space so that you can have more creativity, clarity, and lightness.
Well, we've got to set up that boundary we were just talking about in our
Yes.
conversation. The boundary is no, this is my time and here's what I'm doing in it, right?
Yes.
Like this
Yes.
is, you know, I need alone time to be creative or meditate or whatever, go for a
Yeah.
walk out in the trees, or it's boundaries. Boundaries help us become better people within
Yeah.
reason, like balanced boundaries.
Yes. That's the hardest life skill for me.
Me too. We can't be unusual. I'm sure everybody feels the same way.
I don't know if it's a feminine masculine thing or not, because we're nurturers, but it's hard to say.
I
You
can
know,
tell
what,
you with experience with my husband, he also has a problem with
oh,
busyness.
okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
he would admit that to us.
he's a real strong energy, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he is always
Yeah.
busy and
What are
yeah.
your, do you want to do your change lines or do you want me to read
Uh,
mine
yeah,
next?
I can do them really quickly because I have an idea. You're gonna be like, yeah, I kind of knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read the change lines from the inner self since that's where we left off in our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're changing right from the inner self line one in this scenario. And it says, when you are the recipient of what might be considered blind luck, realize that good fortune has found you because you allowed room for it to enter. Like,
Mm.
that's exactly what we were saying, like making room for these things.
Ooh. I love
Yeah.
how the I Ching just calls us out on our bullshit all the time.
Yes. And in feng shui, we're always talking about clearing space and sprucing things up so that we can see the opportunities when they're clearly right in our face. Because when you're nose to the grindstone, caught up on even just one thing, trying to make it perfect, you don't even
Mm-hmm.
realize that there's like the answers right there, or the opportunities right there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Because you can't see it because you're too busy.
yes. So it says, on the other hand, oh, I skipped a part. When luck shows up in the form of new wealth, power, or energy, it is best preserved and strengthened by sharing this increase with others, perhaps by donating time to worthwhile and selfless pursuits. On the other hand, self-absorbed individuals whose entire purpose is personal accumulation of wealth or power soon become prisoners to their own desires. I don't want to get into too much what we were talking about in our pre-chat, but we were kind of talking about that, like when you get everything that you prayed for all at one time and you're not making space or releasing of or sharing of things that you're accumulating, it
Mm-hmm.
really becomes almost like a prison.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, the particular person we were talking about
We don't know
is,
personally,
we don't know personally now, but
but is all of,
it's
yeah, we've
someone
learned a lot.
online that we've seen a lot. But yeah, that person was supposedly teaching shadow integration and all this supposed spiritual things, and that isn't at all what was happening internally with that person. And
Mhm.
that's why she's no longer with us.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I wonder if more will come of that to
Yeah.
disclose, but if anyone will say anything. But
I mean, that
um,
really was a big kind of slap in my face to see someone of that
right.
um, popularity and notoriety and supposedly an expert end it all. And so sad. Like, it's just so sad that you think you have this empire built and all these people around you, and yet you're still so alone. Like, so
Yeah,
clearly what they were teaching was only half of what everybody needs to understand. It's fine to manifest things in the physical reality, but you have to have your spirit, your mind, and your soul, your higher self, like, has to be center stage for all of that, or you end up going off the path of advancement. And it's the
right.
exact opposite. Like, you literally fall off a cliff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's kind of an underlying lesson because it kind of continues on our last session as well too. I mean, then
Mm-hmm.
we're continuing up into line two. Sometimes sudden good fortune is as disruptive as to its recipient as calamity. So when you get everything that you've prayed for all at once, it can feel like so overwhelming. You're not ready to receive it. You don't have the space to receive it. You don't know how to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a big lesson for this month, being like you're saying, seasonally so
Mm-hmm.
young and Leo, Leo season, and we're in fire horse year. So operating from a sincere desire to extend the power of your integrity and loyalty into the entire world. Remaining true to your highest self, good fortune becomes a lasting condition and small obstacles are easily overcome. Yeah, that's important to remember that you can overcome any obstacle in the way. It says even a miscalculation or seemingly unfortunate event can lead to good luck in a time of general increase. All of these crazy things are happening for a reason that we don't even, and we hate to hear that, but that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It says picture a baseball player on a hot streak who's fooled by an inside pitch. Despite his blunder, the ball accidentally hits his bat and bloops a hit while he's trying to get out of the way, and he advances to first base.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That's a hard one for perfectionists to sit with.
Yeah.
Be careful to maintain a high level of trustworthiness as you may be called upon to act as a mediator. Whatever the circumstance, it's important that you maintain fairness and a sense of balance. If you make the benefit of all concerned your highest priority, your advice will be followed and you will be respected. Whatever you do, do not take advantage of your position when good fortune smiles upon you. See, there's so many change lines in this. Lastly, line 5, up at the top here. No, not the very top, but closer towards the top.
Mm-hmm.
A kind heart does not make demands or ask for recognition. Genuine kindness and consideration flow naturally and spontaneously. In such conditions, supreme fortune abounds.
Nice.
Ew.
So, but going back to your previous, the change line right before this, where it
Yes.
said sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But
Yes.
if we have our boundaries in place, and if we are practicing moments of stillness, or you know just no busyness, like going for a walk or doing yoga, whatever, moments of stillness,
Mhm.
then I feel like you open up the um highway basically to being lucky and good together at the same time. What if you're
Mhm.
lucky and good in the same moment? Then whoa, everything's gonna explode for you. Everything's gonna just take off if you can practice being still,
Yes.
lucky and good at the same time. I love it.
Yeah. It doesn't, you don't get a gold sticker for achieving things from being perfect. If it falls
Unfortunately,
into
I
you,
wish I would
like,
have so many. Just
yeah.
trying to be perfect, I should say. I've never done anything
Yeah.
perfect, but like I try. I tried. I don't anymore. But all right, you want me to read mine?
Yes.
Mine is number 7, discipline. Keywords are exert authority. It's time to take the bull by the horns, which we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Create a strategy and mobilize forces. And it says when the time to mobilize the army has come, it is a clarion call for self discipline and much needed clarity that is stripped of emotional excess and undaunted by mounting chaos. It may seem that you are surrounded on all sides by potentially undermining forces that threaten to chip away at the foundation for all you stand for. And that's what we're talking about this energy right now, being busy, so busy. This is neither the time to act hastily nor the time to allow the present conditions to continue any longer without your intervention and the hope that they will change of their own accord. You may be experiencing your own reserves dwindling, and you can ill afford to wait any longer for others to come to the rescue. Remember what we said? No one's going to make you sit down and be still and take time and do the things you love. By not taking matters in hand now, you risk being drawn into emotional tangles or swept up in conflict and bickering that will only worsen the already degenerating circumstances. In order to achieve long-term objectives, you must avoid any tendency to go for the quick fix. It always tells us that. Cutting your losses by taking the easy way out might seem to satisfy an understandable desire for resolution, but the effect of such actions can only be short term. Whether you're in a position of leadership and your actions affect many, or the conflict you face is with your own consciousness, you are being tested to the maximum right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. The spotlight is on the urgent need to get a handle on your diminishing resources. Whether the challenge facing you is social, spiritual, or physical, the fact remains that you cannot afford the slightest trace of immature or undisciplined behavior. Marshal all your strength now to focus on taking care of each situation as it arises, and in doing so, leave no detail unattended, no stone unturned. Do not relax in your awareness even for a moment. This will need all of your skill in spotting and reining in any little tricks of the mind that might interfere with your awareness by besieging you with fearfulness or self-doubt. So, yeah. It says, however threatening the current situation may seem, it should be carefully considered from different angles before any action is taken. Gaining some overview now will enable you to formulate the right strategy, put aside any restlessness and anxiety that might surface, and don't fall prey to reactionary tactics. It tells us this all the time, to not be
Yeah.
reactionary, to look at all the different angles. And I think, like, for our specific question and specifically our conversation we were having, how we feel like so pulled in all these different directions. I think this is telling us, like, you've got to be disciplined in your mindset right now and not let the energy of busyness completely run away with your day. So you're not like, it's 11:30 at night and your husband goes, how was your day? And you're like, I don't know. I
Day.
tell him a lot, like, I know I did so much stuff, but I can't remember what I did because I'm not in my present self, right? I'm like running around. I'm yawning it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to yin it down instead of yawning it up so much.
Get it down. T-shirt.
It says, don't shy away or deny the powerful energy that wants to forcefully assert itself through you now. Instead, work to harness it so that you can be creative and support a solution in the present dilemma. So whatever it is that's got you pulled away, from your focus, it's saying, don't let that energy get the best of you. Like, you are in control. You can maintain where your attention, focus, and energy goes. You just need to remember that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Well, I was
So
just thinking, I'm sorry, if I say something, is it going to ruin your train of thought?
no, go right ahead.
Okay, so we're entering into that Lionsgate portal, like very fiery time of manifestation. We have to be we know this year we have to be really careful about our thoughts and things that we put out there with how
Mhm.
fast they materialize. And one practice that I was thinking that I started doing for myself is going back to my reflections from the beginning of the year and thinking about that, like, best self version and how my best self version would be acting in my current present
Mhm.
state. And then writing from that perspective, first person, from the different areas that are important to me and how I would show up, and then reading that every night in
That's a
first person
great
before I go to bed.
exercise.
Yeah. And I think that's something you could use your GPT to help you with if you've been using a generative AI, because we've been talking about that being, somewhat of a reflection of yourself, keeping in mind that it's not, we can't say that's a mystical entity or anything, but it's a tool for you to be able to look for patterns that you're exhibiting and using your systems and things that you're creating, the things that you're sharing, so that it could be used as a healthy tool. And take it with a grain of salt and make sure you're the one directing it. But your generative AI should be picking up on patterns and then could help you write your statements.
Yeah, your future self. Here's,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That came into
I
my
just
mind.
I just had a really great conversation with my grandson yesterday, who's 9, about
Mhm.
artificial intelligence. Because, like, when he'll be scrolling through, like, kids YouTube or whatever, and they have
Mhm.
all these really cool like shorts, and a lot of them are AI generated, and he's great at picking out the ones that are
Yeah.
AI generated. And he was asking me about AI kind of coming from the standpoint that it's like this autonomous being that, like this autonomous thing that just has all the information in the world. And I explained to him all the information that AI has is everything that humanity already knows.
Mhm.
All AI does is like it can make really cool images and people can use it the wrong way and mislead you. But all AI is doing is picking up patterns
Mhm.
when you talk to it, right? And like, so when you ask it a question, whether it's about yourself or information out there in the world, it's going to respond back to you in a pattern in a way that you understand. And then it's your
Mhm.
job to go out and double check it against, go
Yes.
out and search what it just
Yes.
said or think, contemplate on it. How does it make you feel? Like, don't just take, like, that's what everybody's doing. It's just taking it like, oh, okay, that's truth. AI said it. Let's run with it. No,
Yes.
it's so wrong all the time. I just used it to do this class I had on Saturday to help me with like images and stuff and some notes, which I
Mhm.
forgot to bring anyway. But um, you have to double check and rewrite all the time. Like if people think you're going to
Mhm.
use AI and it's going to like do everything for you, it will, and then you'll look like an ass because it's not going to be right.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
will see
It,
it.
it can, it's called drifting.
Hmm.
So if you're just using the same channel or chat, to try to it's like the definition of insanity for a human, but
Yeah,
repeating like something that's not going to work and you're repeating it time and over, your AI is going to drift into something that is so inaccurate.
right.
And like I think that fits that concept of drifting. Um, the only way to get out of that is to start a new chat.
Right. Yeah.
Stop, get yourself out of that channel. Like you said, meditate and then direct a new chat and,
Hmm.
and operate from there. And it's a constant course correction, even for people that make this a part of their daily correction. You know,
It's true. And it's so funny you say that. It's a constant course correction.
Mhm.
And when you think of it like that, that applies to everything, not just AI. That applies to every single thing that we put our energy towards. You have to,
Yeah,
it's like a stupid cliche, but you got to navigate your own ship. You got to steer your own ship where you want it. Like if I was a boat out in the ocean and I didn't have a captain, I would be run aground probably or sunk very soon because I would
yeah,
have no one to direct where my ship's going, right?
yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes those stupid metaphors really land good. You know what I mean? Like we are basically like, our energy is basically like a vehicle in this sea of energy
Hmm.
here on earth, right? And it's our job to make sure we maintain where our vessel's going.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Discipline.
Hard. Okay, I have a few change lines too. So I'll start at the bottom, since this is
Yeah.
about self and what you started at the bottom. So my very bottom line changes. And it says rushing into anything out of anger, anxiety, or frustration will attract trouble like flies to honey. Take the time to consider what lies at the roots of any anxiety you might be feeling. Take the time. Everybody, take the time. You have to take the time to understand you got to take time to understand yourself. Wherever
Mhm.
you feel tensions in the body, consciously relax that tension by breathing in spaciousness and clarity and breathing out fearfulness and confusion. Somebody gave me a really good visual for meditation like a million years ago. And it's you
Mhm.
breathe in light or white, you're breathing or spark. It could be any beautiful color. You breathe in something. And then when you exhale, you imagine that you're exhaling out like gray smoke.
Oh, yeah.
So
Mhm.
you're cleaning your energy field. So
Mhm.
this is the perfect opportunity to learn the knack of releasing tension when it first begins to tighten up. So that's the first one. And if that isn't like a personal, I don't know what, I mean, it's basically telling
Yeah,
you
yes,
relax on a
yes.
individual level. Okay. The next line is number 2. If you have a talent for communicating with others and bringing order out of chaos, now is your moment. Give freely of these talents without holding anything back. You may or may not be recognized and applauded as a result, but your actions begin to bear fruit. It will be apparent that everybody involved has benefited, including you. So I guess that's, use your discipline to share your insights if you have any. And then line 4. Yeah. An effective army never rushes blindly into situations where it is likely to be slaughtered. Don't let pride or reckless enthusiasm keep you from making a strategic retreat when retreating is the most intelligent, if not the most glamorous, course of action. There's not much consolation in being a hero if you're not around to pick up the medal. Ooh. Yeah. So what if you're so busy and you're being a hero to everyone else and you get really sick and then
Mm-hmm.
you can't even appreciate the thanks that other people might be giving you or the things that you're seeing come out of that work because you're too sick. And then my last one is line 5. If you find yourself on an emotional roller coaster or fluctuating between anger and paranoia, it is possible that somewhere your creative energy has become blocked from busyness. I'm sure we should add that on
Mm-hmm.
there. Frustration often manifests as defensiveness and aggression. Take responsibility for your impatience the moment it begins to surface. Instead of gnashing your teeth and wringing your hands, create simple disciplines that help you restore inner balance and a sense of well-being. So, I mean, this again is just all about balancing our energy, like we talk about all the time. I guess we just need to hear it every damn time we do a reading because we're not getting it yet.
But we need it for that constant course.
Reminder. Yeah.
Yeah, course correction. It's like even though it's part of our practice, our feng shui practice, our divination practice, we try to make it a practice of our lifestyle and holistic. Like, isn't it wild that all those things that we do for maintenance does still needs a counterbalance against us living in the US and the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a strong force. And when we allow these energy leaks or these impermeations in our field, um, we just pick up on it.
Yeah. And we are not taught to manage our energy. We are taught that we need to be everywhere all the time and everything for everybody. We're
Mhm.
like, I don't ever remember until well into my adulthood ever hearing anybody tell me, you need to take time to reflect or just be with yourself. I was like, well, I don't even know what the hell that means. Be with myself? What are you talking about? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? I'm with myself all the time.
Yeah. Also, like we're told things like keep up,
Yeah.
keep up.
Keep up.
Like
Got to do
since
more.
we're little kids.
Oh, that's great. You got this much money coming in every year. Now you need to bump it up by 20% for next year. Here's your
Right.
goal. Here's your goal. Here's your goal. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Um,
So you want to do 18 or you want me to do
yes.
17 since mine's 17 and yours is 18?
Yeah, do 17 since we'll
They
do
kind of
it in order.
flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Okay. So 17 is following in my deck. And it says the old I Ching text counseled that in order to lead, one must know how to follow. There is an art to both. They depend upon one another to exist. Without followers, leaders would have no one to lead and would serve no purpose. Without leaders to look up to as teachers and guides, followers would be without role models for their highest aspirations. The best teachers are selflessly devoted not to what is being taught, but to those under their tutelage. Ultimately, their task is to catalyze understanding of self-awareness. I think this is talking directly to us. It's lecturing us as I Ching practitioners, Lisa, right now.
Yes.
Hey, you're telling all these people watching your videos how to be, and you're not being it. So listen up, Buttercup.
Well, I mean, that's the destruction that we're seeing in of people, like
Ooh,
self-combusting.
this is so us. Listen to this next line. The best leaders keep it always in mind that the ultimate goal is to finally set each follower firmly on his or her own individual course. This process can never conform to a set of uniform rules or guidelines. It must unfold naturally in order to meet the unique needs of each individual. So that kind of hits me in two different ways. Like, one, I feel like you and I are teachers of this
Mhm.
ancient wisdom, like sharers of the knowledge. We don't know
Mhm.
everything about it, but we love it, so we share it, right? So it can
Yeah.
be pertaining to the people who are listening, but it's also pertaining to us too, because I look to you as a mentor, right?
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
And so I mean, it's pretty interesting. And you've actually set some really good examples of being a teacher, but not like, oh, let me do it for you. You have to do it my way. You know what I mean? So I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind. Like what we're talking about, everybody's going to have a different way of implementing this time of discipline and,
Mhm.
being still. It says the problem is, oh, wait a minute here. This process can never conform to a set of uniform rules or guidelines. Okay, that's the individual part. The problem is, of course, this is synchronicity between leaders and follows, and it is extremely rare. More often, we see leaders exploiting people for their own ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, just turn on the TV. And followers following someone because they are unwilling to take responsibility for their own lives. And that was the thing I was going to say. I think it was either one of your change lines or mine.
Mhm.
Um, is I think the reason why we get so caught up in stupid busy things is we don't want to take the responsibility to redirect,
Mhm.
right? It takes effort to like notice, and then choose. Whereas it just doesn't take any off effort to notice and do, notice and do, notice and do, notice and do,
Mhm.
right? So it says gathering followers for the sake of expanding one's own personal power and influence is self-aggrandizement of the worst kind. It is parasitic to prey on others in order to fill one's own ambitions, and manipulating people in order to force their compliance creates an undercurrent of mistrust. On the other side of the coin, it's vital to stretch beyond the known in order to grow and realize your fullest potential. And finding a good role model can often give us the courage we need to make the stretch. This has little to do with how old we are, and there is no set time in life when it is appropriate not to seek a mentor. Experimenting with different philosophies and approaches is the only way to find out what works best for you. But in your quest for guidance, it is important to stay in touch with the voice of inner truth that intuitively senses when something or someone is sincerely working for the good of all. It requires absolute honesty and sincere self scrutiny to discern the difference between being swept up emotionally by one's own needs, and hearing the voice of sincere inner guidance. So again, we can't tell any of this. We can't discern any of this if we're too busy yawning it up out in the world all day long. We have to.
Y'all made it up.
I know. I like that. I made that up in my class, yawning it up. Um,
Yeah, I
but
like
you know
that.
what I mean? Like we have to have that balance. And when you understand yin energy is not laziness, it's restoration.
Mhm.
That's
I
really
think,
what it
yeah,
is.
a yin energy too, I was thinking is not just um everyone thinks like being dim or like you kind of think almost like lazy or
Yeah, doing nothing
laying back
and
and eating
nothing.
bonbons like and
Yeah,
all day. It's not because it is the energy that's the container to hold all the yang.
right. And it's so funny. We have examples of yin and yang all over around us all the time. But even if we just look at men and women, yin and yang, like women are, everybody has masculine and feminine, right? And
Mhm.
energy. And of course, women are a little more on the yin side and guys are a little more on the yang side, right? But when you look at women, do you think they're lazy? They're the ones growing babies, pushing them out, working jobs, changing
Right.
diapers, not to take away from men. They have a variant, like not just men, anybody that has a masculine like override, right? They have a very important job too. They are the ones that go out into the world, project out into the world, and they're the creators. You can't, what you create will crumble if you don't create it from a place of yin. You
Yeah.
have to get your energy together and understand what is right for you and good for you by being still and embracing your yin energy. Then you take that idea and that energy that you regenerate when you're in your yin energy, and then you project it out into the world. If
Yeah,
you're trying to
regenerate.
project all the time from a point of empty yin reserves,
Yeah.
you're just going to be one of these people that are out there for your own good or
Mhm.
spinning your wheels because you have no energy to share with people you truly want to help.
Yeah. I see that a lot too. I mean, I was reflecting it on me as in growing, for example, in my business or lifestyle and having helpful people, supporters, um, and empowering those around me for, not just for me, but for their development, growth, and shine. And I think that's one of the trap that I see um, teachers and mentors is taking the credit for someone else's contribution. Um, I've heard
Mm-hmm.
that kind of come through a little bit versus celebrating the growth towards the common goal,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that their elevation is intrinsically an elevation for the leader, in that way.
Yeah. Like
So,
every politician out there is pretty much operating that way.
right. Exactly. Yeah. We're just
All the
figureheads.
people supposedly running our country pretty much act from what you just described, that last thing
Mhm.
you said. Like,
And it's a heavy burden, and that will
yeah,
eat you up from the inside.
it
Um,
will.
I think. And yeah, like there's nothing that we need to do to like punish or teach anyone a lesson. It's very unfortunate because I think it just comes through in health and quality of sleep and rest.
Mm-hmm. I oh crap, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what it was. I feel like when I'm talking to people or when we're doing these classes, when when someone comes to me and wants help with something they're wrestling with or whatever,
Yeah.
I always look at it as the more people who I can help just see that you could do things differently. I feel like the more people you can help get to that point, you don't have to show them everything to do because they'll know it intuitively. But if you can just show them there is a different way, I feel like that is changing the world one person at a time. And like clearly, nothing's going to change from the top down because those people at the top love their money and their power too much.
Yeah. They're in
And
the loop.
yeah, and they're a certain type of mental type, right? And I don't want those kinds of energies, thoughts, and practices dictating what's legal and what's not and how I can live my life. I want people who are centered in themselves, centered in their truth, understand that everybody is sovereign and we're all one. We all should work together. That's what I want. I don't want all this bullshit I'm seeing right now and
Right.
that I've been seeing
Right.
for my whole life.
Yes.
So that's how I look at it. Like when you and I work with people or teach classes or whatever, I don't I shy away from like the spotlight and kudos and all that kind of stuff because I'm not doing anything but just showing you a different way. You have to do the rest.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a much healthier place to operate from. And like one of the reasons why you're such a good natural speaker and teacher at what you do is because you're just you're not dictating, you're sharing from life lived
Experience.
experience.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about not to get on a high horse about this because I respect all schools of thoughts in Feng Shui. But one thing I like about Black Sect is that sect is very much about empowering and spreading the knowledge and wisdom wide. And, it's going to, and recognizing it's going to evolve with modern times and advances, and people are going to make practices their own.
Mm-hmm.
And things, and I believe it all works. But so do other things.
Yep. That's why I was just thinking like we might all be trying to meet in Rome, but there's a
Mhm.
thousand different ways to get to Rome for vacation, right?
Yes, exactly.
Rome is
I
like
like
one of my favorite cities in the world. I just love that city so much. But
that.
there's just so many different paths and you all get to the same point. So let's not get hung up on how you do it or why you do it or where you do it. Just freaking do it and get to the same point. Get
Yes.
to, self sustaining peace. Get to
Mhm.
that point
Mhm.
any way you
Um,
can.
I'm going to take it home with repairing the damage, and I think it's going to just put a bow on this. Um, it says when something is rotting, it is time to repair the damage. And we know that. Like we express this as rotting us in some ways, and our friends and people around us, and everyone that we see. It says, like weeds in an untended garden, they must be faced squarely and rooted out through bold action. Eliminating corruption and the sloppiness that leads to it is an ennobling human enterprise as it clears the way for fresh new beginnings. So, if all of us and our listeners, and this resonates, showing up in the ways that you can repair your own damage and express those boundaries and hopefully receive respect from people and is going to start paving the way for the way we do things differently and maybe the way that other cultures are operating. And I would love to hear from people in other countries because we have listeners in other countries. And how is it,
Yeah.
how did it get, how,
How?
just
First of
how?
all, what is your daily grind like? Is there a daily grind? Like
That's, I'm
in
not even,
Australia
no.
or somewhere like I'm just
Yeah.
naming random countries, like Spain.
Yeah, I heard Japan. I mean, and that's
Yeah.
the business culture is huge in Japan, but there's such a great balance and
Mhm.
of more ease and flow. From what I hear, and my friends living in France and same, Amsterdam, same. Or
Mhm.
my suppliers in Italy that are that are now on vacation and shutting the factories down because boundaries.
Mhm. Because
Gonna have to
boundaries.
That's my, you know, American selves over here. We're just going to have to wait a little longer for things because they're shutting down.
Mhm.
It says this is a time to be lean and efficient. The weeds must be rooted out before the whole garden is lost. And it needs to start probably with us before it makes its way to the top and our leaders. Um, yeah, so be swift with how you repair your own damage and stick to it.
Yeah.
Um, it says, make your strike as precise and clear as a path with surgeon's knife. And yes, so I started today with rescheduling an appointment that would have made my day super stacked. At least one of them. Like the other two
Kudos
were
to
there.
you.
Thank you.
You're
And now I'm
welcome.
not bending.
Um, Mine actually kind of like where is that line I wanted to read? Mine kind of piggybacks on yours, and it says basically um, when something starts to smell, or like when something starts to really like pick at your brain at like me over and over again, like, why am I so busy? Why haven't I done, I want to do this, but I didn't make time to do it, that kind of stuff. It basically says, quit covering up and making excuses for whatever it is that is bothering you or that you see needs correction. Like, quit trying to cover over decay
Yes.
with flowers. Basically, like my first card said, take the bull by the horns and figure out how to fix this situation you're in. So I think they really, really pair well together. Um, all four of our cards.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, another great I Ching reading mashup that I don't think, alone we could have come to a pretty good reading, but mashed up together and having that reflection and shared intention, I think multiplies it.
Mhm.
So, and
And I
again,
feel very, very, very motivated now to not be so busy. Isn't that
not be
weird?
busy. Yeah, right.
Is that an oxymoron?
Yes.
Motivated to slow down.
Convicted. Well, this has been good in the vein of busyness. I'm off to do my gym, my personal
Workout.
training workout,
Mhm.
and taking the kids. Um, so we'll continue this conversation, um, amongst ourselves. If this resonates with anyone, reach out to us because we'd love to hear from you. If you want to join us in our podcast, you don't have to know how to read I Ching. We can just have you here along, and you can bring whatever gift that you have, your intuition, yourself, or
Yeah,
your
your
tarot
insights.
or
Yeah, your
whatever you want to bring, your dowsing rods or
Mhm.
whatever.
Or
So
just your mouth.
yes, or just your mouth. Yeah.
Just your
Thanks,
voice, I should
Michelle.
say.
Yes, just your voice. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
We'll talk to you again in our next session.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. If today's conversation sparked something in you, sit with it, journal on it, or pull your own hexagram and see what answers arise. Until next time, keep listening for the wisdom beneath the noise. We're Michele and Lisa, and we'll see you in the next mashup.